Today I'm going to take you through a lower body dumbbell workout. You can do this as a follow along with me. This is a 30-minute workout and this is day 2 of my 6-week 30 workout Dumbbell LIFT Series. We're going to start off with a brief bodyweight warm-up, then we'll go into those dumbbell strength sections. Let's get you warmed up, starting with some bodyweight exercises. We're going to kick things off with a good morning, alternating with a squat. You're going to go back and forth, doing 1 rep of each. The good morning is a hip hinge movement, and the squat should be more of an up and down movement. So hands behind the ears, and let's go. So you're going to hinge at the hip, feel those hamstrings, back to the top, and then squat. You're going to repeat, so hinge at the hip, and then squat. So we're going to get the hamstrings lengthened with that good morning, and then we're getting the quads warmed up with that squat. Keep repeating. We're going to go straight into some reverse lunges now. So alternating backwards steps, getting the back knee nice and close to the floor. Make sure that front knee isn't collapsing inwards. It'll be tempting, but we're going to try and keep that slightly turned out to the side. A nice low drop. You can either gently touch the floor or just come very close. We're going to go into some inchworms now. So you're just going to hinge at the hip, reach down to the toes, walk out into a press-up position, straight arms, straight legs for as long as you can on the way up, and repeat. Touch your toes before you stand up. So you can bend your knees in this, but the goal is to bend your knees as little as possible. Okay, straight into some 90-90, so sit on your bum, facing me. You're gonna go side drops, so we're creating 90-degree angle at the knees. I'm just propping myself up with my hands behind me to allow me to keep some length to the spine. I know these are fast transitions, but just get you through that warm up. We've got 2 rounds of these. There's 5 exercises. Okay, we're going some tabletops. So you're gonna pop up like this, squeeze the glutes and back down. Repeat. So you might feel a shoulder stretch. We're engaging the glutes, opening those chest muscles up as well. If you find this uncomfortable on the wrists, you can just pop into a glute bridge instead, like this. Get ready to come back to your feet. All right, we're going back to that good morning to squat. So hinge at the hip and squat. So this is hip extension as we pull the hips back. Then we've got that nice big knee bend for the squat. So imagine someone's pulling your hips backwards for the good morning, and then you're keeping your chest facing forwards, relatively upright for that squat. Straight into those lunges, alternating backwards steps. I like backwards lunges better than front lunges because I find that it tends to stop people from leaning too hard into the knees. I find them slightly less impact, so great for a warm-up especially. Get ready for those inchworms after this. So hinge at the hip, flex if you need to touch the floor, walk it out, walk it in, roll it up. Hinge, bend the knees a tiny bit if you need to, but try and keep some length to the hamstrings throughout. Going into those 90-90 drops. All right. You can do these without your hands if you want. I prefer actually to just prop myself up. I find I can keep better spine posture, keep some pressure out of my lower back by using some support. So next up, we've got those tabletops, or if you're not comfortable with the tabletop, you can do that glute bridge that I showed you. So tabletop, down, hold, so we're getting a nice stretch and opening out the quads and hip flexors and the shoulders. Engage in the glutes. This is our final warm-up exercise. And then you're going to need to grab some dumbbells, ready for the first strength section. All right, great job. So grab some dumbbells. I'm going to be using some 17.5 kilo dumbbells. That's about 38 pounds per dumbbell. We're going to do 5 exercises, 30 seconds on, 20 seconds off for 3 rounds. Then we'll be changing the exercises using the same format. Let's start off with a goblet squat. So squatting nice and low, back up, smooth tempo on the way down, slightly faster on the way up. You can have your feet turned out slightly. Knees should be turned out to match the extent to which your feet are turned out. So if you've got relatively straight feet, your knees can come forwards more. If you've got turn out of the feet, you should have a turn out if the knees can match. All right, we're going to take 1 dumbbell again. We're going to do a single side reverse lunge. So I'm going to take it in my right hand. I'm going to step back with that same leg. So I'm stepping back with my right leg. We're going to do all 30 seconds on that side, and then we'll switch. So stepping back, you're allowed a slight lean forwards. It's actually good for even getting the glutes stretching out a little bit more on this left side, but we don't want to collapse forwards. So when I say lean forwards, I mean hinging at the hip, but keeping an engaged upper back. If this is too much, you could always do it without the dumbbell. All right, I'm going to go to the other side now. Very short transition. Get ready. So stepping back. I'm not over leaning forwards, but I'm just allowing a slight lean to stop me from overarching my lower back. I find if I try and stay bolt upright, sometimes I just flare my ribs. It's more comfortable just to keep my ribs tucked in. Great job. Onto the deadlifts next. So we're going to go dumbbell, double dumbbell deadlifts. This is not a Romanian deadlift, so that means that you are going to bend your knees slightly. So if you pick your dumbbells up, feet straight, push the hips back, and the dumbbells start to reach your knees, bend your knees slightly, press through the ground back up to the top. So it's going to start off like a Romanian deadlift, but we're going to go a little bit lower because when the dumbbells are approaching my knee level, I'm going to start bending my legs slightly, but still allowing myself to stay in a horizontal position at the bottom. Let's always finish the rep, don't worry too much about the clock. All right, final one in this first 5. There's going to be some calf raises. As you can see, get a little out of breath talking and working out at the same time, but I'll try and keep giving you technique tips throughout. All right, let's go. So squeeze and down, squeeze and down. So we want to minimize the time spent at the bottom and maximize the time spent on the way up or at the top. So we want to increase the time under tension, making it a challenge. Let's do a few fast reps to finish. Hold and down. Great job. There's round 1 complete. We've got 3 rounds in total. So grab yourself a little water. We're going back with those goblet squats. Let's make sure we have good range of motion in all of these lifts. So we want a nice low squat. Feet usually will be slightly wider than shoulder width with a slight turnout. Knees turned out to match. It should be quite an upright squat position. So more upright than a barbell back squat. Keeping your spine stacked on top of one another. Okay, taking 1 dumbbell or no dumbbells if you're struggling. I'm going to take it in my right hand. I'm going to step back with that right leg, either staying upright or allowing a very subtle lean forward. First round didn't feel too bad, but all this leg work starting to add up. Right, 10 seconds to switch sides. As I said in the intro, this is actually day 2 of a 6-week 30 workout Dumbbell LIFT Series. So if you're on that, don't worry, you've got a mobility day tomorrow. It's a bit of an easier one. And if you're not on that, check out the full program guide linked in the description of this video. All right, we've got the dumbbell deadlifts. So you're gonna hinge at the hip, pushing your hips backwards. As the dumbbells approach your knees, you're gonna start bending at the legs. Don't be afraid to be horizontal in your bottom position with your torso. Feet should be narrower than a squat, and there shouldn't be any turnout of your toes for a deadlift. Your feet should be parallel with your toes pointing forwards. And the dumbbells especially should keep really close to your body. No further forwards out front than your shoelaces. Calf raises next. So yeah, with those deadlifts, run them down the sides of your legs. Keep them close to your center of gravity. Reduce the stress on your lower back, maximize that hamstring load. Let's go. I'm going to try and rep slightly faster, but still making sure I'm not resting at the bottom. Try and get those calves pumped up a little bit. If you find that your grip's going before your legs, I recommend using some wrist straps. I often use them for workouts. I haven't got them today, so I'll have to just hold on tight. All right, 2 down, 1 to go. After this round, I'm going to do the same format. I'm going to go to some lighter dumbbells, and we're going to teach you some new exercises. Back to that goblet squat. single dumbbell lunge. I'm starting on that right side, dumbbell in the right hand, stepping back with the right leg. Going to take it to the other side. Make sure that front knee is staying out. A lot of people will collapse it in like that. That's not good knee alignment. There's some muscles up on the outside of your hip here, your TFL, and your abductors that'll help keep that knee out. We're actually going to work them in this next section. Okay, we've got those deadlifts. So remember, hinge at the hip, push the hips back, dumbbells close to your body. Allow a little knee bend in the last 30% of the movement. And then calf raises to finish this round. The rest's good just to let the forearms recover as well. Okay, take a break. I'm gonna go down to a 7-kilo pair of dumbbells. That's 15 pounds per dumbbell. If you're enjoying working out with me, but you'd like a more structured sets and reps plan, or something to continue on after finishing this 6-week series, check out my dumbbell ebook, which I'll link in the description below. It's a 12-week periodized plan that you can do at home or in the gym. It's similar to how I train. It's the closest thing you can train to me, just using dumbbells. I use dumbbells predominantly myself anyway. But let's get the second section started with some alternating lateral lunges with the dumbbells up in this front rack position. If you're struggling with the dumbbells up here, another option would be to bring them down a little bit easier. Or you could just go no weight if the weight's too much for you. All right, we've got 20 seconds off. Next up, we're going to do a single leg double dumbbell Romanian deadlift. So take both dumbbells. I'm going to start with my weight on my left foot. I'm going to hinge at the hip, reaching the right heel back. I'm going to come through. You can gently touch the toe for balance. I'm keeping an almost straight leg on the leg I'm standing on, but I'm just allowing my knee to unlock slightly. Big mistake I see is people going too far with the dumbbells and not high enough with the back leg. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of a transition, going to the other side, so shift your weight onto the other side and hinge at the hip, reaching forwards. If you need to do this without dumbbells, that's fine. A little tip for stopping your hips when opening up to the side is try and point the back toe down towards the floor. It will mean that you probably don't go quite as far into the stretch, but you'll put the stretch onto your hamstring, which is where we want it, instead of opening out to the side. Great job. Okay, we're gonna come onto the floor now, into what I call a half side plank. So if you imagine your regular side plank, but then you're gonna chop the bottom leg in half, and then we're gonna pop up into this half side plank position. And we're gonna do some lateral lifts with the top leg. This is by far the hardest exercise for me personally within this workout. Definitely need to do a little bit more Pilates. All right, short transition, we're gonna take it to the other side. So I'm gonna chop that bottom knee in half. I'm gonna pop up. I'm going for those lateral lifts. Let's try and keep the top leg toe pointing forwards. Try not to point it up. Keep the glutes engaged, pushing forwards. Oh, that was by far the hardest one for me. Okay, so we're gonna take 30 seconds off. We've got 3 rounds of this, just like before. So we're going to those alternating lateral lunges. You've got 2 options. You can have the dumbbells in a front rack position, or you can have the dumbbells down between your legs. I'm gonna go for the front rack position. Let's go. Let's try and keep that knee of the bent leg pushed out. And let's try and keep the trailing leg straight, feeling a nice stretch down the inside. Don't worry if you feel like you're not getting very much range of motion. Just doing the exercise is probably the best thing you can do for improving your mobility on it. So it's going to take some time. All right, we've got those single leg Romanian deadlifts next. Unlock the knee, but don't bend it too much on the leg you're standing on. Keep the back toe pointed down. Lats engaged, don't round your back. Feel like doing a bit better this time myself. Got my balance together. Just a little bit of practice in the first round helps. All right, 10 seconds. We're going to take it to the other side. Onto the floor. We're going for those half side plank lateral leg lifts. If anyone knows a better name for these, comment below, because that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? All right, over to the other side. Second side's always harder, but that's because you actually push off the bottom leg as well as lifting the top leg. So you're already slightly fatigued. Whoa. Foot's feeling like lead. Whoa. Whoa, great job. Okay, we've got one round to go. So you're doing great with your training. You've got your training sorted, but you're only getting half the results if you're not looking after your nutrition. I've got a lean body nutrition plan designed to help you lose fat and maintain muscle. I've got a lean muscle nutrition plan designed to help you gain muscle with minimal fat gain. I'll link them in the description below if you want some support with that. Let's go. Third, final round, bringing us to the end of day 2 on this 30 workout, 6-week lift dumbbell series, completely free. Great job. Got those single leg Romanian deadlifts. Hopefully starting to get a little bit better at these. Does take some practice. So you're unlocking the standing leg. Reach the back heel. Keep the lats engaged. And don't worry if you're wobbling around. That's all part of the learning process. If you want to be testing how far can you go, you're probably going to be getting it wrong every now and again, and that's fine. Great job. Onto the other side. Onto the floor now for those half side plank lateral leg lifts. See if we can finish the workout. These were getting pretty tough last time. If for whatever reason you're struggling with this shoulder, if you've got a shoulder injury and you can't support yourself, you can always just lie on your side like this and do some just lateral lifts. You'll still get a really great burn in the abductors. It'll just be a little easier on the shoulder. Obviously, if you've got nothing wrong, go for the full variation. Let's take it to the other side. If you're doing these and thinking, What's he moaning about? These are not that hard. Then try going for a full side plank and do this same exercise. Staying in that full side plank position. But for now, I think I'll leave you to that and I'll carry on with this. And that's it, workout complete. Thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you do day 3. You could even do it right now as it's a mobility session and then have tomorrow off. Here's the full series. Make sure you've downloaded that program calendar if you're following the LIFT series in the description below. Check out that ebook. Let me know in the comments, how did you find that workout and where in the world are you following along from? Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and see you again soon for another workout.